Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
Then let's jump to the transaction part of NEET 3. At this point in time far we have been only discussing the configs and setups and chart of accounts. Now the first thing that we will see here in the financials is make journal entry. This is like the starting point again in the accounts and finance side where you record journal entries to record all your day-to-day transactions. Let's see how you can create a journal entry record in NetSuite. And to do that, since this is a transaction record, you notice I will go in my transactions tab now. Transactions, financials, and make journal entries. This is going to be my navigation part. And this is basically the transaction for two inter-dominant fees. Alright. The first thing that I need to select here is my subsidiary. You notice again there are mandatory fees and you need to, make sure you provide all these mandatory fees. I'm going to select my subsidiary. In which subsidiary you are trying to post this transaction. You have to select that subsidiary over here. Let's say GDS code. And once you select the subsidiary, you will notice the currency is auto-populated. Posting period current date is auto-populated. All this is also going to be auto-populated. You can change the date as well. Let's say if you are trying to post this in a different date, maybe in 10th of November, you can just change the date right here. This is the top part. This top part is basically called the header of the journal entry. And the below part is called the line. I'm just going to collapse this really quick. Now this is the header and these are the lines. You can see in the lines. I can add more lines on this journal entry. Let's quickly start filling up. I'm going to select my subsidiary in which I need to post this journal entry. I'm going to select my date. I can enter memo. This is a field that you can find on all the transactions at the header level. If there's any memo that you want to publish, let's say journal entry. I'm going to select my to record expenses. I'm going to give that. If you have any approval on your journal entry, like if you have enabled the approval routing, you will notice that the status of this journal would be pending approval. And if you have the approval rights on your user or permissions on your users, you can just mark this as approved. Now what will happen is that once you save this journal entry automatically, the journal will be posted in the GL. Since I'm using my custom admin role, I have the ability to mark this as approved right away. But whenever a user would be doing, they would not have the ability to change the status from pending approval right away. Someone has to approve that journal entry. But right now I am the admin. I have the admin rights and I can just mark this as approved. This is also something that you have at the top. Now, once you have entered all the relevant information in the header, you can go in the account. And here, select the GLL code that you want to use for your posting. Let's click on this list. And here you will notice all the chart of accounts that we saw on the last page will be listed over here. For this subsidiary, whatever accounts are assigned to it, it will list out over here. Let's say we are recording an expense for travel and entertainment. I can select travel and entertainment expense. And let's say for 500 or for 599 for travel and expense. I can give a line memo as well that whatever, travel to India or something. I can give my department, class and location. Remember the classification concept. Whenever you're recording a transaction, you can assign it to a particular department, class and location. Let's say this travel expense was for my admin department. I can select admin department over here. Let's say this is for my, product category A. I was doing this expense for. I can select my class as well. And you can also select the location. That did this expense. Let's say, it was for us location that incurred this expense. Now, based on this assignment, I will later show you in today's session how it will be reflected in our reports as well. And how I can see my classified, classification based and dimensional reports because of this assignment. Whenever you're recording the transaction, you can assign it to a particular department, class and location, and then later see the reports. Alright. I've selected my one account on the journal entry, and you will notice that it says that debit is now out of balance by $5.99. If I try to save this journal entry, the next week will give me an error that amounts in a journal entry must balance. For every journal entry, the debit and credit always needs to be matched. I need to put another line. Let's say I'm going to select a bank account here. Try to bank account that I just created. I can use this bank account now and let's say put a credit in this bank account, GL code. And now you will notice that my out of balance is 0, which means my journal entry is now valid. I have 599 on the debit. I have 599 on the credit. And now, once this journal entry is balanced, you can now save it. Is this making sense? Alright. And once you do this, I can simply save this record. What is exchange rate? Is it a personal monetary field exchange rate? Exchange rate, typically comes into place when you have a different currency from your base currency, right? Let's say you are, you have a base currency of USD, but you are doing a transaction in a different currency. Let's say Canadian dollar. In that case, exchange rate comes into place. But whenever you are posting a general entry, you are always posting it in your base currency. You don't have to worry about the exchange rate. This is something that you should be aware of when you're doing any sales transaction like sales order, purchase orders. That's where we'll be discussing in more detail. But whenever you are doing a journal entry, it's always in your base currency. That's it. USD to USD is always $1 exchange rate. That's why it's 1. Like in the function, like the medical, understand that the way that general entry, when the general entry occurred, to post to the system. You click on the GL impact over here. And you will see that this is the account that was debit. This was the account that was credit. And this was posted to my journal. You see the posting status. It's yes. If, and the reason is that this journal entry was in approved status. If it was in unapproved status, it would have been no. Until that, journal entry was approved by someone. That's how it works. And you can also notice that this is my memo. This is my subsidiary. This is my department. This is my class. And this is my location. This is the general entry that NetSuite was able to make. And this is something that is posted to Jila now. Alright? Does it answer your question? Perfect. Now let's do one more thing. Like if there is a situation where you might have to reverse this journal entry in a future date. There are some instances in the accounting and finance department, but you record an expense for a particular time and then you reverse it in the future. These are certain scenarios that happens in the accounting team. What you do is you simply edit this journal entry. And there is this reversal date option over here. See this. Let's say this journal entry was created on the 28th of November, but I want to reverse this on 1st of December for some reason. There are multiple accounting and financial policies where you have to reverse a few expenses or accruals or something like that. This is my requirement. I need to reverse this at the 1st of next month. I'm going to select my reversal date as 1st of December and I'm going to save this. Now once this is saved, you will notice that there is a reversal journal entry created 4 to 4. Notice that there is a reversal approved for posting. My initial journal entry was 4.23 against which this is created. And here notice that my journal entries are now reversed. Tata bank account was previously credited but now it's debited and my expense was previously debited and it's now credited. It's a reversal that next week has automatically created. This was the initial journal entry expense debit, Tata account credit, and here it is reversed. What was the date for the initial general entry? For the initial, the date was 28th of November. The initial transaction and the pool and the reversal transaction is 1st of December. It means the revenue will be, revenue in a show into December month. It's actually not the revenue. It's the expense that will show as a credit in the month of December. It is going to be reflected, but with the the credit side in the month of November, this expense is going to be on the debit side. But when I see my December reports, it's going to be in the credit side. That's right. This is going to be shown in our December with this impact. That's how it works. This is an interview question for me. It was 1 or 2 months back. I got a call from this cause and by seeing my profile. They considered my profile into to as well function and they called me. I attended it. They asked, why did general entry? And what we will do when we will post the journal entry, they asked me the question of what is. But in which context? I mean, what was the context of the question? I mean, I'm just trying to understand. Did they give you any scenario or something like that? No, they did not give me any scenario. They asked me simple like there is a cut-up date or 10th of every month, a financial cut-up date. We have revenue, we have revenue for last month of which we did that bill for a customer. What to do? He asked me this question. Like the end user, I said that we passed the J to the last month in current, in the current month for last month. Oh, right. That's right. If the period is open, let's assume that this is the example, right? Let's say this was related to last month, right? And we need to post it. What I essentially would be doing is like, just change the date to last month, say October. This was a revenue related to October. And also you need to make sure that the posting period is also October. Everything is collected. Month of October. But one thing to note here is that the period needs to be open. If the period is already closed and you cannot post anything, you need to take a consideration of that period in the sense like last financial period, right? This accounting period, the posting period, month should be open. In next week, you can close this period as well to avoid any extra transaction. Let's say the month ended forward. For example, the period has been closed by 10th of this month of previous month. If we need to, recognize the revenue for last month after the 10th, at that time, by posting the J, we can transfer the revenue to last month. Am I correct? But if the period is closed, you cannot post that generally in the last month. You have to reopen the period and then post it. If client says like you should not reopen the period and the revenue should be transferred to previous month, we could not able to do like this. You have to clearly tell them. You have to clearly tell them if the period is closed to them. The concept of closing a period is that you don't further post anything and you're reporting it, not impacted because of any adjustments, right? If they need to post anything now, after 2 months, and in a previous date, they have to take financial approval from their team, open the period in NetSuite, and then post it. That's how it will work. Correct. And he asked me about the approval also. Why are approved is necessary? You know why you need to get approval from the superior to post it? Right. I said that if period has been closed, we need to take approval from my manager to reopen the last financial period. I said that this is it correct answer for that. Partially, that's definitely correct. But the concept here on the journal entry level for approval is that like there will be multiple data entry users who are entering journal entries, right? In a financial department, depending upon the size of the organization. Let's say if it's a large organization, there will be 10-20 people doing data entry on the journal entry side. Now there is a risk here that if as a data entry operator, my level of thinking is really, not that high. I might do some human error. I might select incorrect journal account, right? Instead of selecting travel and entertainment account, I might select, let's say, meals entertainment. Now, because of this, you know the wrong account. An approval process, ensures that someone is going to review this journal entry before it is posted in the journal ledger. It's just a control that is established because of this, that if there is a human error, the supervisor would review it, and then it is posted. If there is any management or the CFO reviewing the financial reports, no incorrect reporting, shows up on their dashboard or on their screen. There is just a control established because of this process. Correct. And the same. The main thing to post a revenue, should we require a general entry? The main point for that? Not really. Journal entry is usually for any adjustments or any expense recording that doesn't have a vendor bill or a customer invoice or something like that. Because we have AP and AR module in NetSuite to record revenue, right? We are going to use that module for recording of our revenues and receivables. And for recording the expenses and supplier liability, we have the accounts payable module. We will be exploring that down the line in our sessions that we will have in Procure to pay in order to cash. But general entry module is typically used to make accounting adjustments or recording any on the fly expenses, any accruals that cannot be recorded using the AP or AR module. Anything that cannot be done in AP or AR is usually done as a general entry. But at the end of the day, general entry can be used for anything. Like, you can record your revenues, you can record your expenses, you can do anything with the general entry. But the recommended approach is that if you have AP and AR modules in the suite, you use that for your vendors and your customers. And anything that is not related to vendor and customer should be used in general entry. Finally, to adjust the for this mentor review, we can use the general entry. Right. That's recommended. But there will be some organizations who might find, recording a sales order and invoice of any cumbersome process. They would directly do that from general entry as well. You will see such customers and clients as well, but it's their choice. But as a consultant, you should recommend them that since next week has a separate AR module to record your revenues and and receive your bills and make customers and all that stuff, you should use that. But if they're not comfortable, if they find it very comfortable, they can directly record it via a journey as well. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.